Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. I hope you've all had a fantastic week. Friday is upon us, the weekend has arrived, so I hope you guys have got some nice things planned ahead of you, whether that just be to relax or spend time with your family and friends. I hope whatever you're doing is going to be enjoyable. Today we're going to be diving into Cardano, and we've got a lot to cover. I've had to actually take a lot of things out of this video that I was going to put into it just to kind of get through it and not make this a half an hour or so video. So I'm going to try and keep it as short and sweet as possible. This is going to be a follow-on video from yesterday, but we're also going to do a number of different things that we didn't look at yesterday, like really diving into markets as a whole. Yesterday, we really focused on the huge announcement that was the Sunday Swap testnet. Charles had also said he believes that we are going to have an operational DEX working on top of the Cardano network before Christmas. We spoke largely about the significance of this, what this means for not only Cardano but the ecosystem, and how we were, and we use Uniswap as an example, going to see Cardano get locked into these protocols, which should cause somewhat of a supply shock due to the fact that the majority of Cardano is already staked, which is something that Ethereum didn't have when their DeFi kind of rolled around. And we did a number of things, like we looked at the DeFi Pulse Index for Ethereum to show you just how much value is in there. There's more value in Ethereum's DeFi than there is in the entirety of Cardano in terms of a market cap. So there's a lot of room for ADA to grow. I do want to get into the prices. We saw a pretty nice run yesterday that has been somewhat killed. Now, why is this being killed? It's not being killed in the sense that it's really anything to worry about. This is markets. Remember, Cardano is very much a hostage to the overall crypto space, and certainly Bitcoin, and there's so much going on. We've been giving you daily market updates, cryptocurrency market updates, where we've not only looked at the cryptocurrency space, we've related it to the traditional finance world, because Bitcoin is largely associated with that now, given the nature of its market cap and some of the players, such as Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, that are now involved in it. Everything is somewhat synced up, but has its own kind of variables and factors involved. So that's where I want to start this video. I also want to talk to you guys about a huge opportunity that I'm going to be taking part in. And this doesn't just apply to Liquid Labs. You guys know that I'm a big fan of farming DeFi protocols. I did it when Aave first launched Polygon, and it was exceptionally profitable for me to do so. Those opportunities, or some similar opportunities, are going to arise on the Cardano network. Aave, of course, is a borrowing and lending protocol. Liquid Labs is a borrowing and lending protocol. And I really want to highlight one fantastic opportunity of many that you guys could get involved with. And this is also going to tie in to kicking off from where we left off yesterday in relation to what a DEX and DeFi is going to mean for ADA, and how we're really going to see a huge amount of Cardano supply get taken off the table, locked into these protocols, in order for people to farm DeFi with. And remember, we've only really spoken in depth, and we have covered a number of other projects about Sunday Swap yesterday and Liquid Labs today. This is the Cardano ecosystem in front of you. All of these, barring obviously the NFTs, etc., are going to have that sort of effect that Sunday Swap will. Whereas for Sunday Swap, you know you're going to have to lock up liquidity essentially in the form of ADA versus something else, or whatever the coins are on the Cardano network. You know, we're gonna see this not just on one DEX, on multiple, not just on one DeFi protocol, on multiple, and that's also something we're going to talk about. So let's start with the price, ladies and gentlemen. The market is somewhat slumpy. This is really due to global markets. Bitcoin's at a very key point right now in relation to where it is on this ascending support. It seems to have bounced off it so far. Let's hope this holds, ladies and gentlemen. Why is the cryptocurrency space seeing a bit of a slide? Well, it's largely due, and we covered this in an earlier video, they're well worth a watch, to the global financial system and what's currently going on. You had non-farm payroll data released today for the US, and they largely over-exaggerated the amount of jobs that were going to be added to the economy, and they came in significantly short. Less than half of the jobs they thought were going to get added to the economy actually got added. And this is significant. This is something that you guys want to pay attention to, certainly if you're looking to the kind of global macroeconomics of everything, because they do relate to the crypto space. This is something you want to pay attention to, and this really showed that we have a slightly weaker economy than was expected. This ties in with Jerome Powell saying that he wants to taper inflation, taper buying back of bonds, etc., and stop sort of propping the economy up due to how hot inflation has been allowed to run. He retired the word transitory. It looks like that may be a bit of a slower process. They're not going to be able to just rein it in right away, certainly over the next couple of months, because the growth of the economy hasn't been as fruitful, according to this data, as perhaps they would have liked. So they can't really kill off inflation too much due to the fact that the economy isn't that strong or as strong as they were expecting it to be. And this, of course, affects your traditional markets. But actually, and you can see the S&P sold off significantly. Still seeing that indecision due to a whole list of variants, like the new variant that's out and all this kind of stuff going on a global macroeconomic level. You're seeing a lot of indecision. But this actually could be good news for Bitcoin. One of the greatest, really one of the best events that ever took place for Bitcoin was over here, guys. Because what took place seemed very doom and gloom at the time, but the governments around the world had to combat this via inflation, printing money to push into the economy to kind of keep it afloat. That is going to continue. To what degree that continues, though, is really what to watch. And this non-farm payroll kind of confirms that, you know, the economy isn't quite as strong and maybe we shouldn't quite start tapering off inflation as harshly as we were perhaps going to. So I hope you guys are understanding this. I know this is a Cardano video, but what you've got to understand as a Cardano investor is the crypto space. And now as a crypto investor, you need to understand, a serious crypto investor, you need to understand global macroeconomic events and global events and how they will impact the markets that you are in. So that being said, significant level here for Bitcoin. Cardano, what am I looking at here? Well, I'm going to tell you guys. This potentially could be the bottom. We looked at a number of things like our RSI, not on the 4-hourly, on the daily, and we pointed out the similarities between the move that we previously went on and the one that we are currently in. So what I am, of course, talking about is over here and over here. And if you look at where your RSIs were, high point, your low point before you bottomed, high point, low point before we've potentially bottomed, and now we're expecting another move to the upside. And if you look actually into these structures, and we are going to get into some of the yield farming opportunities that are about to present themselves. I'll get rid of the RSI for now. If you look at these structures, first of all, key level of significance around about the 0.65. The 0.65 isn't actually a Fibonacci number, but it's something that I like to put on as it has clearly shown its value here and how you've kind of rejected off this twice. Very important that this does not become an engulfing candle. And by engulfing, I mean the same size or greater than the move to the upside. What I'm potentially looking at, and I'm going to point this out very quickly, and another good thing, can you see how you was in this channel? How you rejected off here, but you've come back and you've actually bounced off the channel that had previously held you as resistance, potentially now as support. So what happens over the next couple of hours is going to be very telling. What I'm really looking for, and I don't really know any other YouTubers that give you this kind of analysis where they look at everything that's going on in the world, is, and I'm going to drop it down in terms of time frames to really highlight what it is I'm targeting. We'll move this channel off. I can always draw it back on later. This over here, for me personally, has a lot of similarities with what you saw over here. This kind of V shape, you come up, you find significant resistance before you bounce. You find your support coinciding with this EMA before you continue to uptrend. So if you see, can you see what I'm talking about here, ladies and gentlemen? V-shape up, you find that significant resistance, you come back. If you see this continue to go up slowly, you're onto something, guys. And ultimately, it's not going to be that long. It's not going to be long until the cryptocurrency market as a whole starts to see movement. And it's all very correlated with macroeconomics. It is a shame that Cardano is so tethered to the crypto space. All your altcoins are, of course, there are pariahs within them. But I am expecting continuation in this bull run. I do think it's not going to be very long before you see all-time highs for Cardano. I just think you're going to have to hang in there, guys. And yesterday was really a fantastic step in the right direction, certainly with Sunday Swap. This is something I'm exceptionally excited about, and I think that you guys should be too. And we looked at the reasons why, and that wasn't speculation. That wasn't opinion-based. That was factual-based, based on what happened in previous ecosystems and what that does to the supply and the demand side of a token. It takes supply off the table. It also increases the demand, which equals or should equal a price increase. This is what we're expecting. And like I say, with Ethereum, they did not, and let me repeat this, did not have staking. Remember, very quickly, guys, we do have the all-in crypto pool. The ticker is all in. We are still, despite all the ISPOs going on, the initial stake pool offerings, gaining delegators. So we're doing something right. Huge thank you to each and every one of you delegating to the pool. It's greatly appreciated. We are coming up with a nice ROA at the moment, so we're kind of getting there. Let's take a look at how much Cardano is staked. 71.6%. I think it's actually a little bit higher than this. This is before. So there is only 28.4% of the supply out there that actually isn't staked and somewhat stagnant. So that supply that's being traded on exchanges is probably very small. That is about to get decreased with these protocols. It was the whole reason, you know, we showed you Uniswap, which is a DEX on Ethereum, and how you've got a lot of value, $1.6 billion worth of Ethereum locked into her. That doesn't seem significant, but it absolutely is, ladies and gentlemen, and also in the form of other tokens, ERC20 tokens. This is about to happen with things like Liquid Labs, Meld, Aid Finance, AADA.finance, and a number of other protocols. We can see that they actually, Chainlink could kind of give them a mention. Chainlink getting ready very much as they are working with Cardano for Cardano's DeFi. So that's a huge vote of confidence that Chainlink are interested in this. Liquid Labs are essentially going to do a similar thing to what Aave and Compound do. And with these protocols, just like with your DEXs, the underlying asset that these protocols are built on top of, so Ethereum in Aave and Compound's case, gets locked into the protocols. You can see here that this has $15.5 billion of value in, and that's just one of the versions of Aave. And a lot of that, or a significant amount of that, is in Ethereum. I'm actually going to put it to the USD. $5.7 billion worth of Ethereum is locked into just this one protocol. Same with Compound. Let's take a quick look. $19.3 billion in supply and borrow. And this is, hang in there, guys, because this is going to link around to the opportunity that's about to present itself. And I'm going to keep you up to date on this. I think well over $1 billion worth of Ethereum, or just shy of $1 billion worth of Ethereum is just locked into Compound, which is obviously smaller than Aave. Now, where's the opportunity going to come from? Well, I was rereading this, and this is an update on how Liquid Labs are actually going to release their tokens. They're going to give and issue a lot of their tokens to the people that partake in their protocol early on. What do I mean by that? Well, the reason we brought Aave and Compound up was to show you that how Aave and Compound essentially work is you borrow. You can connect your wallet to these protocols and choose to put your underlying tokens forward to be borrowed, and you'll get an APY off this. And you can also lend tokens off them, and you'll also get an APY. I did this with obviously Polygon. At one point, the Polygon returns were insane. I mean, it was big money, and you could do that off not a lot. So what you're going to be able to do is essentially provide tokens to be borrowed, and you're also going to be able to lend tokens. You'll be able to get an APY. I'll show you how this works very quickly. Can you see this? Total borrowed. You can see the deposit APY and the borrow APY. So this is if you deposit in order to give your tokens up to be borrowed, and this is if you actually borrow it. So not only will you earn the underlying token, which could be ADA in this case, but you'll also earn the liquid token. So can you see where I'm going with this? And why this is interesting is because 70% of the total LQ token supply is allocated for community distribution to protocol suppliers and borrowers at launch. 50% to suppliers and 50% to borrowers. So you're going to be able to partake in this protocol. I'm going to show you how to do it, because I'm going to be doing it myself when it comes out, and actually earn the liquid token for doing so, and an APY on your underlying token. So that could be Cardano, or it could be another Cardano native token. So I hope that all makes sense. Remember, this is absolutely significant. Don't let this price movement get you down, ladies and gentlemen. You are seeing an uptick, and watch out for a similar thing that took place over here to take place over here, guys. And also, You guys now, as responsible investors, need to take care and certainly take a look at the global financial markets, and the answers to what our market is doing will lie there in many, many cases. And we've only covered 2 of a blossoming DeFi ecosystem. That is all I have for you in this video, ladies and gentlemen. If you've enjoyed the content, a like is always appreciated. So is a comment, a bit of a more longer and complex one, just because I really want to drill this home, that DeFi is an absolute catalyst for Cardano's price to skyrocket. You're going to see it. Mark my words on that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. Enjoy your Friday, and I'll catch you all in the next YouTube video.